Hare Krishna. It's 1:30 p.m. in Ireland. And it's some other time in Portugal. In Portugal, yes, but also in Brazil. All right. I'm going to select English. And look, we're so happy to be with so many devotees already. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. And all from Brazil, everyone from Brazil, except Mukunda Prabhu and Namapriya Devi Dasi, and myself. And Rasikananda looking very smart. Actually, everyone is looking very smart. It is true. And Ishwari looking very smart, representing her father, Sri Hari Prabhu. And that must be Mitravinda with the baby, with the child. Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, let us begin with Vandanam, and then we shall hear from you all. We'll get some Brazil news with our simultaneous translation from Anu Krishna Devi Rasi. Hare Krishna. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangs Cha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Govinda Govinda
Jai, Srila Bhakti Ranjan, Madhusudan Maharaj, ki Jai.
Jai to all of the sincere devotees trying to put into practice what they have heard from Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. You are the richest people in the world. You, because you are trying to do what they say. And one or two of you, Mukunda Prabhu and Naza, and one or two others have been on this morning's Zoom. I'm not sure that you were on this morning's Zoom, but you may have heard that Guru Maharaj was speaking to us through JBL. We don't have any shares in them, but they're very helpful, even with many devotees. So Srila Guru Maharaj was speaking to us, telling us from maybe 1983, I'm not sure. But he was saying, the poorest of the poor. Who is the poorest of the poor? Poor people, but the poorest of the poor. They are the ones who know that there is guidance. They know there is advice. They have heard, they understand that the sages, the sadhus, the Vedas, etc., they are giving us advice for our brightest future. And they may even have read some books. They understand something, met a devotee. But if they don't put into practice, if they don't do that advice, then they are the poorest of the poor. So we don't want a label on our gravestone that says such and such person, poorest of the poor, gone to some unknown quarter to take birth as pig after pig after pig for having eaten so much hamburger, not hamburger, yes, hamburger, I do not know. Anyway, whatever pigs are made of, sausages and bacon. Then, poorest of the poor having to go to be a pig for so many pig lives, chicken for unlimited chicken lives, goat for so many goat lives, etc. And all of these lives, they all want to get enjoyment, and they're all going to end up getting just suffering. And this is not much different than the human life when we don't practice what is being presented to us by the wise, the rishis, the munis, the sadhus, those similar words for different grades, but similar words for those who have some connection with the revealed truth and want to share that good news with others. And not only some connection, but when we have got an opportunity with Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, and the lineage of Mahaprabhu coming through Rupa Goswami, then we are hearing and being guided, being advised by those who have got full connection with the Absolute, the Lord's own servitors, the Lord's own associates, loving associates from the upper world, coming to set right again the path of devotion, coming to set right proper duty for the living entities. So, Malati Priya, she's got her thumbnail showing Vrindavan 4 kilometers and Govardhan 20 kilometers. Oh, so near and yet so far. Just see. Hare Krishna. So from poorest of the poor, let's not think about the poorest of the poor. Let us keep our association with the richest of the rich, those who have come to the teachings of our divine masters, come to the teaching of the divine masters, and who are trying to put that into practice. So each of you, what is opposite of poorest of the poor? What is opposite? Anukrishna's thinking. What is opposite? The richest of the rich. So be in the department on the gravestone. They'll say, the richest of the rich. They didn't go down, they went up to a beautiful place called Goloka Vrindavan by the grace of the wonderful devotees there. Hare Krishna. Do you understand? Nazar understands, Anukrishna understands, Jamuna Priya understands. And Indubala's thinking. Now she understands. Okay. Krishna, Krishna. All right. So I'm in Ireland at the retreat, the annual retreat in Kiltegan, and I know that I was with you on the Zoom last year from here, so you already know where we are. You know the place. You met the Father Michael, the main priest now who's looking after everybody. And this morning, he's really, a gentleman and good-hearted. We're trying to get the Krishna bit injected in there too. But anyway, he's good-hearted. He's got faith in the Lord, but that he's dark blue, plays a flute and wears the lightning yellow dhoti hasn't quite been, the Lord hasn't quite shown him this form yet, or let him understand that there is such, beautiful, the Lord is there. But he's a good person. And this morning he joined our program. We gave honor to him. After all, what are we meant to do? We're meant to give honor. And he's got a lifetime experience of people reaching. And we explained to him, we don't like the word preaching, but people reaching. And he joined the program, and we just humbly asked him, how do you, he was a missionary in Africa, in different places in Africa. And we asked him, how do you spread the word about God in these countries? And he was very sweet. He gave us some very personal tips about how he deals with not deals with the people, how he meets the people, how he talks with them. And he was very happy to share and very happy to hear, because sometimes people only want to speak, like me, and not hear. But he was talking and hearing. So, and I'm happy to say that he has said the name Krishna several times. So we are remembering Mahaprabhu and how when devotees would come back after talking with somebody who was not a Vaishnava, and Mahaprabhu would say, did they say the name Krishna? And if the devotees came back and said, yes, then he said, okay, very good, then happy, they're on their way. And he said the name of Krishna many times. And then the devotees invited him to take sanctified food lunch. In other words, you know what that's called, prasadam. So he took prasadam with all the devotees, and he listens. And, we're expecting him to shave his head and use the rest of his retirement life or his remaining life as a Hare Krishna devotee. Why not? And where we are, which I did not know last time in Ireland, it is a place where they do various things. They're quite wealthy. It's part of the Catholic Church missionary section, where they train missionaries to go to Africa and Brazil. By the way, he mentioned one father here who's been in Brazil. So, but then when they get old, then they retire. And so they have quite a big place further behind here. And I saw it, and I saw like that. And then last year they said, oh, there we have some missionaries who are retired. And then I asked him yesterday, in fact, I asked him, so how many people live there? They must have some story to tell from all their missionary work around the world. And he said there are 63 retired monks living behind here. Amazing. 63. So, what can I say? And he's retired, but he's active retired. And so actually we are here by his grace. And the grace to give honor to where that is the link, how it's all happening through Sripad Sridhar Maharaj, who I don't know if he's been specifically on the Zoom to Brazil with Sridhar Maharaj. But he's a good soul. He's been a steady sannyasi since, I don't know, maybe 1 year after Srila Guru Maharaj's disappearance. Then Gurudev conferred sannyas upon him, and in a particular way also, that he's qualified to be sannyasi. And Gurudev was very happy with this, and and I've known him since he was married, separated, much difficulty in his life, and then taken sannyas, received sannyas indeed, from Srila Gurudev, and all the way through. And he was training to be a priest, a Christian priest. That was his background. And when he came to Krishna consciousness, when he came across Srila Prabhupada's books, etc. But he wasn't from the rebellious section of the young society. He was from like the religious background. And so anyhow, he knows a lot about the saints of Christianity and their contribution. And so he mixes very well with the Christian priests, maybe not always with the followers of Christianity doing many things in the name of Christ, but he can speak in a way that the Christian priests who really take seriously their religion, he can speak in a way which resonates with them. And he's come here by the recommendation of a devotee, by the way, called Kalindi, some years ago, and she said, "Oh, you should go and meet the priests at that monastery." And he came here, and they were very kind to him, and he was kind to them. And then he used to stay here when he was preaching around Ireland. He'd stay for a few days and then go on as he's been doing all these years, by the way. And from that, then he actually began the very first retreat. And he was like the inspiration. He's not a manager so much, but then the devotees supported him. So that was in 2017. And then 18, 19, but then 20, the COVID came and everything stopped. That's not news, you know that. The whole world, you couldn't have gatherings. And then last year again, restarted the group, the retreat here for the devotees, for us, Hare Krishna, if you like to say. But restarted the retreat last year. So this year is 3, 4, 5, the 5th of their retreats. And it's a very beautiful place, geographically speaking. And a good place for, you can say the good intentions of people. And there are many slogans, not in this room, but there are many slogans everywhere, like on the walls. When you walk, there's a forest, a stream, little waterfall, a lake, and they got verses on the rocks, around the trees. They got lots of things, which are all very good, but generally good. And an example, and we were discussing this, the devotees, because we went on walk and talk yesterday, and we were discussing this and just saying, well, it's actually a good example that all you need to add is Krishna. I mean, say directly, Krishna, God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, instead of like a vague, God is good. Yeah, God is good. We know God is good. But instead of vague God things, then with Krishna mentioned directly, then it will be so truthful and nourishing and actually beautiful in the beautiful sense of sharing Krishna, which is what we're meant to do. Whatever we know, we should share with others. This is the whole principle of Mahaprabhu's teaching. Well, the whole principle means we got to know it's good to chant Hare Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we should be humble, tolerant, give honor to others, not want honor for ourselves, and share whatever we know. So we saw it as a good example that without Krishna, things are still empty, even when it's generally religious and generally God-centered. But Guru Maharaj was very strong about the gradation of God consciousness. And we give support, everything for where anybody is at the moment, such as the general God is good, take shelter of the Lord, faith, conception, which we see here. but there is movement, there's opportunity for going upwards in the gradation to something more fulfilling, more satisfying, more personal. And this, we know, is what Mahaprabhu gave. He highlighted the Srimad Bhagavatam. He lived what is recommended in what is the conclusion of Bhagavatam. Take the holy name of the Lord, chant his name, chant his glories, etc., etc. And Mahaprabhu lived that and distributed that. So that's my, my little news from here. And it's a sign I was also going to say, now let us hear from Brazil. Devotees Uberlandia, Brazil. You have the most devotees in one window. So we vote you in. As we were saying, preaching and people reaching, well, the same devotee, Chintamani, she came up with this word, volunteer and voluntold. You are told to volunteer, as it were. Hare Krishna. Yes, Vrindavaneshwari, you've been voted with spokesman.
Dandavats, todos os devotos unidos. Bom, eu me lembrei de uma coisa aqui que a gente leu recentemente nas leituras que a gente faz toda manhã, sobre bhava, um pouco dos sintomas de bhava. E dessa vez, não foi a primeira vez que a gente passou por essa parte do Chaitanya Charitamrita, mas dessa vez eu fiquei muito observando que dentre todas as reações que quem sente bhava pode ter, falou sobre paciência. Eu falei, cara, que engraçado, né? Paciência, da outra vez passou batido, porque a gente fica pensando em outros sintomas. E aí pode ser filosofia da minha cabeça, mas eu comecei a olhar para a paciência não só como uma ferramenta de autocontrole. Eu parei de pensar sobre mim, pensei sobre ele, tudo é sobre ele, tudo é para ele, tudo é uma graça e algo da divindade. Então, atualmente eu parei de achar que eu tenho que desenvolver paciência porque eu tenho que me autocontrolar e entender que é graça dele. Né? Inclusive, em estado de bhava, a paciência é uma das características. Eu achei isso muito legal. Se puder explicar melhor, para eu entender melhor, Gurudeva, te agradeço.
Well, Vrindavaneshwari Devidasi, bhava is a high state. We can hear about it, but we won't let our mind go too far to try to understand it, because it is ununderstandable. We actually have to go through the steps one by one, and all of this will happen if we follow this process as given by Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, as given by Srila Saraswati Thakur. So our concentration will be on the foundation of our devotional journey. And bhava only comes after we've actually become fully cleansed inside, when we've got some taste, some reliable taste, more reliable taste, that matures into bhava bhakti. And then bhava, it is where there is all kinds of symptoms which we understand that if ever we were to show any of those symptoms, we would think that, oh, we are imitating, we're not really doing those things at all. I mean, it's just far above us, because we know that we still have anarthas. We know we are not pure inside. And so we know that we are like disqualified. On the highway in many countries, here in Ireland too, there are signs to enter the motorway or the autobahn, freeway, whatever the name in the country is called. Then this got this big sign, cycles under 50 cc's. No, and in Ireland, believe it or not, they've got no horses and buggies because people use horses and buggies. Maybe not the best example, but still, to go in the Bhava lane, the Bhava section, we need to have a certain quality of vehicle. And as well as no bicycles and no motorcycles under so many cc's, etc., and no horses, then no pedestrians. And we are the pedestrians with our feet in the material world. And so we're not allowed on the motorway. What to do? We have to accept our position. Keep on taking prasadam, and one day we'll grow up to be a fully fledged motor car. We'll be allowed on the motorway. Sometimes in different places we see tiny, like very small tractors, and we think, oh well, if we keep feeding them diesel, will they become one of these big tractors? But that's not possible. But in devotional life, we're not talking about material things, we're talking about spiritual things. And it's amazing. Which part are you reading, by the way, where you're reading about Bhava? Because it is amazing, amazing descriptions. But we worship that, but we keep our feet on the ground, and we cannot imagine that. But which part of Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Muito provavelmente esse. E eu assim, desculpa a minha memória, eu não lembro se foi Prema ou Bhava, mas era uma parte que falava sobre as reações que os devotos sentem. A minha admiração foi que não só aquelas coisas de êxtase, como a palavra paciência estar ali, que foi uma surpresa. Nossa, então não é só o êxtase pleno. Ser paciente é uma reação desses devotos também quando estão nessa vibração. Mas eu imagino que deve ter sido no capítulo 10 do Adilila, capítulo 9, provavelmente, já faz uns dias, que atualmente nós estamos no capítulo 10, isso provavelmente foi no capítulo 9 do Adilila.
Yes, there are lots of interesting things there, and patience. To be patient. Guru Maharaj says our journey is infinite. It can never be finished. So that takes some infinite patience. Not, oh, I want it. I've got to get it now. I've got to get it now. We just need to know we're doing the right thing. Wherever we are now, we will appreciate that. We will take the moment. There's a kind of, I'm told, new age, modern saying, live in the present, or some word like this. I heard from Devashish Prabhu. I'll go and ask him. Some, not live in the present, but something, mindfulness or something when you're thinking only the moment. But some of these things do apply to us. Where we are now, we must appreciate where we are now. We have something in our journey. We are on the train, we're in the railway carriage, whatever it may be, whatever analogy we give. And patience. It sometimes amazes me, and I'm not the only person who has thinking on an aeroplane, because after all, everyone in rows 1 to 75, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, everyone there has got willing, feeling, and thinking. So sometimes even we think a little bit, and we're quite amazed that for 12 hours, 400 people can sit in one place, be pretty much well behaved, and get off the plane. They're going to a destination. No one can press the button and say, I want to stop here, I'm getting out, I can't sit down anymore. They know that they're on a journey and they're going somewhere. So we are not confined to a seat and a seat belt and a tray table or whatever it is. We, as devotees, we got like a living world around us, but we are on that journey forward. And so we must be patient. That patience will be there. And Guru Maharaj pointing out that the more we get a touch of the infinite world, the more we will realize that infinity is in front of us. In the beginning, we may think, oh, I'm almost there. I feel so much better. My head is clearer. And now I'm not doing bad habits and only doing these good things. Oh, what a difference. But this is a molecule of a drop of a drop of a flow of the infinite current. It's good to read all those symptoms now and again, but not to imitate them. It just gives us another idea of the great living wonder of life, a life worth living, which is the life of devotion, waking up to devotion. So afterwards, I'm going to search, not now, but afterwards, I'm going to search. In chapter 9, Adi Lila, see what we can find. Hare Krishna.
Posso fazer uma pergunta? Anu Krishna, você fala por aí? Navats Maharaj.
Yes.
Navats. O senhor estava falando sobre a comunidade cristã, né? Isso me lembra que a gente convive muito, né? Porque o cristianismo, ele é meu passado, né? Acho que passado de muitas pessoas, né? Culturalmente, e eu convivo muito com pessoas do cristianismo. E quando o senhor estava falando desse lindo encontro, desse momento com as pessoas, e eu gostaria que o senhor falasse mais da postura que a gente deve ter, sem desrespeitá-los. Quando falar de Krishna, às vezes, se é um fluxo natural, um fluxo sutil, porque se não foi nos pilares do ego, que eu vi que Gurudeva falou que a gente nunca que Govinda Maharaj, né, para a gente tomar cuidado e nunca tirar a fé do outro. E fica não tirar a pessoa da fé dela. E eu fico um pouco, às vezes, confusa no paradoxo. Ou a gente conversa de Krishna num processo natural. E eu achei muito linda essa sua experiência, como o senhor conduziu. Eu queria que o senhor falasse mais disso. Se é a prática que Gurudeva fala de dar honras para as pessoas, é respeitá-las nesse processo. Queria que o senhor falasse um pouco mais sobre isso, de se comportar sem os desrespeitar as pessoas de outras crenças, quando a gente, como uma posição de devotos de Sri Krishna, né?
Okay, so first of all, I mean, we do not disrespect their faith. I mean, it's not that we're pretending not to disrespect their faith. We don't disrespect their faith. Guru Maharaj gave much credit, and he's saying that what Jesus taught is very close to Vaishnavism. And so, very close to Vaishnavism is very good preaching, getting everyone ready. So, the devotees, when we talk about devotees, we'll talk about Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, because they are the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada, of course, but we met, we were with, we served Srila Prabhupada, we met, we were with and served Srila Guru Maharaj. Sorry, Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj, I hope I said it rightly. And so they give all appreciation to Jesus and what he taught. And so it's not that we are pretending not to appreciate. We are giving honor to their faith. We're giving honor to their bringing God consciousness. And we see, by the way, so my experience here, by the way, is that they are giving, here at least, in this department which prepared missionaries principally for Africa. And in fact, the gateway, when you come in, there's an arch gateway, and it's got something like a Lady of Africa, our Lady of Africa, and they train missionaries to go. But talking with the priest here and hearing from him, putting questions to him, then I understand that the focus is very much on altruistic work, like helping people who don't have enough food, who are drug, and this he's there explaining, who are drug addicts, who are alcoholic, and those who have got injuries, hospitals, this kind of thing. And they've got God consciousness there, they have their mass, their program. But we try to draw a bit more out of the priest about their mood of prayer and their depth of prayer. Where does he find that he gets inspiration when his prayer is more sincere? These kind of things we were discussing here. But really I noticed that the emphasis and what we've done, which is good, is on the altruistic side. So we want to meet people, we want to meet them in discussion somewhere where we've got some common ground. They're enthusiastic about helping. So to introduce, if they can receive it, you have to understand who you're talking to. If they can accept, if you think they can receive, this idea that if we will serve God, then everything will be served. If we only serve people, it is not serving God. And this is a big thing in India with one very famous mission, they call Ram Krishna mission. Their motto is serving God, serving people, or something like this. Service to people is service to God. Whereas Guru Maharaj pointed out, but actually it is service to God. Then not only people, but every part of his creation will be satisfied. And what is missing is serving the Lord. So this idea of giving our energy for others, then if we can give our energy to the owner of that energy, and we're on common ground that he is God, not quite on common ground, or somehow there's a little barrier about, but what does he look like? Somehow that draws a bit of a resistance. What does he do? Where he lives, who is with him? That's somehow drawing resistance. But we can all acknowledge that everything is part of his creation. So to try to turn this giving idea, that we will use everything, utilize everything for his pleasure. And then giving the example, putting food to the stomach, all the limbs, hands, fingers, everything is nourished. But we don't put a separate injection to the hand. So the thing is, we just have to think who we're speaking to. And if we have the opportunity to speak to a hall full of monks, we might try to take it to in another way to get their brain thinking a bit more about the personality of God and descriptions and where we can find descriptions. And the example that Guru Maharaj gave of one pilot in the war who the plane was shot down, and as he's falling down from the sky, he's making some prayer to the Lord. Dear Lord, if you save me this time, I promise I will give my life to you. I will search for you. And he found, when he woke up, he found himself, all smashed up, but he was alive in a hospital. And when he got released and got back into the world, then immediately he went to search for the Lord. And he went to the Christian priest, another priest, the bishop, the archbishop, whatever is the hierarchy, I'm not sure. But like the father's father's father, that sounds like Krishna to me. Anyway, they went to the highest of the Christian priests, and one by one, they're giving some answer, but they're saying, but I can't give you more. I don't know more than that. You can go to that person. He may know. And then finally, he came to like the top Christian priest, and he said, well, actually, we can't help you beyond that point. But we have heard that in India, there are some who have seen God. You can try your fortune there. And he did. And he came within this umbrella of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he found his fortune. So in this way, we can try to relate a little bit. And if you have 100, then, or if you have 1,000, maybe one will, pick up the thread and go further. Because remember, as Krishna says, out of many, many people, only one takes to think of doing something better with their lives. Out of many of those, only one will take to the searching for the Lord seriously. Out of many of those, only one will actually understand about Narayan, the Creator, the Lord. Out of many of them, very rare to find a Krishna Bhakta. So if we have, a hall full of Christian missionary monks who've been serving for 60 years like this, maybe a big toe of one of them will become a devotee. Let's see. So we can't expect everybody to pick things up straight away. If we were Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we could expect it, but we're not. Because remember, we are discussing now about Christian because we're in a Christian monastery. Hare Krishna. But Mahaprabhu, his tour of South India, you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, also Madhya Lila chapter 9, probably, then you will find so many places that Mahaprabhu went to. But Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, he describes that when the residents of South India were mainly karmis or jnanis or Buddhist renunciationists. And so that was mainly, and out of the Vaishnavas, the devotees of the Lord, they were mainly from the Ramanuj Sampradaya devotees, the Ramanandis, and Madhvacharya Sampradaya, the Tattvavadis. And they are seeing the Lord as like the supreme, like God, very powerful, very opulent, the Narayan Vishnu forms. But hardly a Krishna Bhakta. And when Mahaprabhu went around South India, then he went to thousands upon thousands of holy places. Krishnadas Kaviraj says that. Sahasra tirtha, thousands upon thousands of tirthas he visited. And they weren't places where people were Vaishnavas. They're also in their conception of spiritual life, of God, what is the goal of life. But Krishnadas Kaviraj described how everywhere he went, everyone became Vaishnava and left aside their previous conceptions. chari, the word, this word, like for not only left aside, threw away their previous conceptions. So we are thinking today about like Christianity, but there's so many departments of thought that we can be brought up with and be like a little bit fixed at that's it. But if we will try to do what Mahaprabhu did, we'll be at most mini successful. Opposite of maxi. We hope we can pique some interest somewhere from Mahaprabhu's teachings. But Mahaprabhu himself he's Krishna. He spread Krishna consciousness. His name was Krishna, consciousness of Krishna. Chaitanya, Krishna, Chaitanya. Sri Krishna, Chaitanya. Krishna, consciousness. Chaitanya, consciousness. Chaitan, unconscious. Chaitan, conscious. Krishna consciousness. So everywhere there are groups, departments of thought, but the Krishna conception is the goal that everyone is looking for. And if only that ego, or whatever it is, even that ego that, oh, I'm a good person, I pray to God, I do good for others. That ego also, if we leave that and look inside, yes, but inner fulfillment, eternity, in a land of joy, playing with the Lord, living with the Lord, and he's so beautiful, he plays a flute. He herds cows. What? He herds cows. So, we don't have to give too much detail in the beginning because we don't want to make offense. And the ninth offense to the holy name, which everyone has heard, everyone has forgotten. No, not everyone. Some, a handful have forgotten, but everyone has heard. The ninth offense is to preach to the faithless. And so there's different grades of that. There's different grades within those who have faith in God. But if they're faithless in actually like the personality of God, plus, then we have to be a little bit careful. Hare Krishna. Krishna consciousness. If I had my tablet open, then I could read you many things. But today is not a reading day, is it? It's a chatting day. Would anybody like to chat with me? Chat means more than one person speaks. Navakishori is looking for the unmute button. She's your Brazilian representation, or one of your two Brazilian representations in London. But where are those stairs? That's not London. I thought she was reaching for the unmute button, but she's not. She's just showing us her thumbprint, seeing if we can.
Dandavats pranam. Yeah,
we can hear you, yes.
Sim, the stairs is from my room, but the Wi-Fi is not good in my room, and I can't understand.
Oh, I see where you are. Yes, I understand. So what are you sharing or asking? You can speak in Portuguese. Give yourself some relief from trying to speak English. Speak in Portuguese.
Ai, são tantas coisas para compartilhar, mas eu tô tentando juntar tudo numa coisa só, que é cantar os santos nomes e ser feliz. A gente está aqui agora tendo o programa de domingo, né? E teve um programa maravilhoso. Eu fiz uma pergunta sobre o que o nosso Gurudeva vem plantando profundamente no meu coração, que é, entender, né, como que a gente vai manter uma consciência da linha, né, que tipo assim, é uma linha que Rupanuga Sampradaya, para servir, né, dentro do templo, os Vaishnavas e servir também no mundo material, né? Porque onde quer que a gente vá, o que a gente tem que pedir para Krishna, né, que eu estou entendendo aqui, Mahaprabhu, é nunca me deixe esquecer, porque Maya é um lugar que ela te pega. E a gente tem que manter sempre essa oração e cantando os santos nomes e tentando usar tudo que está à nossa volta para servir, né? Servir Krishna, servir os Vaishnavas. Ai, é tão profundo isso, é tão elevado isso, e aí eu fico com isso no meu coração e quero tentar entender, mas entender com a mente não é possível, então é realmente uma entrega assim do coração que é que eu tô praticando aqui no templo, né? Mas ao mesmo tempo a minha mente ela fica a mil. Então eu tô nesse momento aqui e é só isso que eu queria compartilhar. Haribol. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I would like to ask a good advisor to give you some good advice. Ananda Leela Devidasi, you can give her good advice in Portuguese, so she will understand easily and directly how to stop her mind from running everywhere and anywhere. And she already told what is the good advice in Krishna consciousness: chant Hare Krishna, be happy, etc. But some advice for her, Ananda Leela Devi, and some Vaishnava good wishes from everyone for her.
Ah, Maharaj, quem sou eu, né? Quem me dera eu soubesse. Mas, Didi, nossa, pegou não sei quantos meses para se dedicar só a isso. Então, puxa, muito incrível essa associação que você tá, a oportunidade de associação que você está tendo. Nossa, isso é sensacional. Não vejo a hora de você voltar para o Brasil para você compartilhar isso com a gente. E aí eu acho que o principal você já tem, e talvez o desafio seja como se manter associada sem estar no ombro a ombro, né? Sem estar com os devotos assim todos os dias, o tempo todo, e com uma rotina desenhada para isso. Quando a gente está aqui fora, a rotina é desenhada para Maia. E aí a rotina é desenhada para servir os devotos e servir Krishna. Eu acho que o maior desafio é esse. E a resposta, além de cantar os santos nomes, com certeza é a associação, mesmo não estando no ombro a ombro. Mas é isso. Quando que você pretende voltar?
Ainda não sei quando eu vou voltar, mas eu quero muito fazer a peregrinação também né, dos ashras na Tailândia.
Ah, que
Então eu tenho aqui no meu coração que eu quero muito para Tailândia também, no festival lá, vai ter um festival aqui em agosto, lá vai ter no final de outubro, quero conhecer a família da Tailândia, e aí estou fazendo essa manifestação aqui. E com a misericórdia de Krishna, eu vou conseguir. Jai. E tem Índia em fevereiro.
Olha aí, você está dando informação privilegiada para gente.
Então, eu quero, como você mesmo falou, eu quero estar junto com os devotos, eu quero estar nessa associação aí. E aonde eu puder ir com eles, Eu irei com a misericórdia de Krishna. Jai. Obrigada,
Eles
Didi.
são contagiantes, né?
É incrível, é incrível. Impossível viver sem agora.
Hare Krishna. Well, we could ask one devotee who is in Thailand, the Thailand family, to also give you some good advice. And that is Ram Sundar Prabhu and Paramananda Prabhu. But I was thinking Ram Sundar Prabhu because he's a resident. He's been in the ashram all this time and he's a young man. And so what is your tip to keep the mind from running everywhere? Then we'll hear the authoritative answer from Paramananda Prabhu.
Put a C4 in your mind and blow it up. Toss mind completely out the window.
Okay, Krishna doesn't know what is C4.
Okay, do you know what dynamite is?
Explosive.
C4, same, almost. That would be my short answer and a bit straight to the point. But the mind is very unreliable and cannot be trusted. And Sripad Janar Maharaj from SoCal Ashram, he made a humorous comment on the Bhagavad Gita verse about how saying your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And Janar Maharaj said, let me know when your mind becomes your best friend, because it seems like it ain't going to happen for a long time. So that's why Srila Madhusudan Maharaj gives us good advice that Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, for us junior section, to serve under experienced seniors, because one, they're more experienced, and two, they're an outside, voice. So they aren't your mind. That battle or conversation between you and your mind, they aren't a part of that. So they can give very substantial advice. But mind is very tricky, and these things are very difficult. That's why we are practitioners, and we are trying each day. So that also ties into the theme of patience, and tolerance, because we have to tolerate the mind and be patient, because it's not exactly a one-day process. Otherwise, we would all be liberated by now if the mind was able to control in 1 hour. So sometimes it takes a big slap, sometimes it takes a thunderbolt, and sometimes it takes the smell of a rose. All those things at the same time. And this reminds me of Srila Gurudev's famous quote about Nityananda Prabhu, and how, he's the central figure for us, basically, in controlling the mind. He's the original guru. So, we can only and forever keep trying to chant and think of Nityananda more and more as possible. But Gurudev's quote was that you take sincere shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, and all you have to do is tolerate the progress that you'll make. And I have been thinking about that, because at first it kind of sounds very hopeful and like, wow, great, you just get on a train and sit on the train and then tolerate the speed of the train. But actually it's more like a bullock cart that's going very fast is what I would say. So it can be extremely bumpy, and you can hit a massive speed bump and boom, then you have to hold on even tighter. That's what I've been thinking about recently, or these past couple months, because the temple is getting closer to manifestation. And so you may be hitting many, many speed bumps, and you have to hold on. And that's what the tolerance of that progress means. Not exactly, it's just a smooth, straightforward ride. It can be very, very bumpy sometimes. And that's why we have also famous, I guess, famous as in, it's well appreciated that, all you have to do is just stay in the boat and the boat will take you where you're supposed to go. So just don't jump out of the boat. Just, responsible service saves us. So the more you fill your mind with responsible seva, the less noise your mind can make. And just ignore whatever your mind's saying. But of course, easier said than done. That's why day by day, step by step. And now for the the senior himself, full of much substantial advice. And I can speak from much experience because I've been given an extreme amount of the most useful and helpful advice I can ever imagine from Krishna Priya Didi, Pavananda Prabhu, Mohanananda Prabhu, and of course none other, Madhusudan Maharaj himself. What can I say more than this?
Nava Kishore, you're going to say something?
Yes. Lá em Vila Govinda, numa conversa, a Madhusudan Maharaj falou sobre que a gente também tem um guru interno, né? E aí, a minha pergunta é, como que a gente vai diferenciar a mente dessa comunicação e dessa fala do guru interno? Porque eu lembro que ele falou o seguinte, Madhusudan estava falando sobre Guru Maharaj e Gurudeva, Govinda Maharaj. E ele falou que esse nível de guru não existe mais, né? Não está mais encarnado, mas que a gente também teria um guru interno. E aí, quando saber se é a mente maia ou o guru interno que está querendo falar alguma coisa? Já, essa é a minha pergunta.
Well, you're very fortunate, Navakishori, because you have your guru present. So if you have any doubts, you can always run it by him. Just don't bother him every minute. And sorry, Maharaj. And you can also ask experienced devotees. They can help you with that. It's not so easy in the beginning to differentiate between the voice of your Chaitya Guru or your actual spiritual inspirations from a mind games. So Ram Sundar was referring, and I kind of like that. It's kind of an ironic remark from Srila Janardhan Maharaj. He was referring to the verse in Bhagavad Gita, Uttare tatmanatmanam natmanam avasadaye atmaiva yatmano bandhun atmaiva vipur atmanaha, saying that your mind can be your worst enemy or your best friend. So trying to befriend it is a good idea, but it doesn't come easy. Krishna also said, to control your mind is practically impossible. You need my grace for that. So I really like the advice of Ram Sundar. Engage yourself in responsible seva under a good guidance. That is also important. And your seva shouldn't be whimsical. Seva is never whimsical. The very definition of seva means you're doing something that is pleasing to your spiritual master and the whole of Guru Varga and to the Vaishnavas. So if you can manage that, if you can stay in that current of seva, and please do remember, it is something very, very precious and not easily attained by anybody. So you stay in that current and you will be saved. And very soon, you will learn when your mind is speaking and when your heart is speaking. But in the beginning, it's good to take shelter and take advice of your spiritual master. First of all, Maharaj is very much present in our lives. So it's a good opportunity. And also, those devotees who can represent your spiritual master nicely, and who have some affection for you and in whom you have some trust and affection for. I think that's a good way to proceed. Otherwise, Ananda Leela give a very good advice, Ramsundar give a very good advice. And Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan always gives the best advice there is, because he doesn't say anything different from Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj. And we've been recently hearing from Guru Maharaj in Guru and His Grace how a proper acharya, what is the position of the acharya? How can you say this acharya is the acharya? He gives due honor and follows very strictly to his acharya. And that's what makes him acharya. And acharya means who is always, gives you a good example how to proceed, and from whom you can get a very good advice. So keep that in mind. That's the most important.
Add something real quick.
You can definitely add something.
One final thing, because we are over time. Of course, we love to be over time to stay together. But anyhow, one final thing that I was remembering, and it's very clear example about the Chaita Guru that Maharaj has given example before about, that it's like two birds on a branch, and we, the Jiva soul, are one bird, and the Chaita Guru is another bird. But we are doing so many things, this and that, and the Chaita Guru is just observing and not saying much. So the Chaita Guru actually for us now, because we have Guru right in front of us, we don't need to think or worry about the Chaita Guru, because one, we're a dirty instrument. So whatever we think the Chaita Guru may be, we should instantly doubt that and not believe it, because Guru is right in front of us. So Chaita Guru is a very passive thing in our circumstance. That's why in Sri Guru's grace, Guru Maharaj says that the Guru is the most tangible thing, more than Krishna even. So what to speak about the internal Chaita Guru? Even Krishna himself is an impossible thing for us. But Guru, he's right there. So, and many trusted senior devotees that our Guru, Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, has said, these are obviously, and just by their life experience, substantial and trustable devotees. So we should trust them more than our mind. And we shouldn't consider so much the Chaita Guru, because Guru is right in front of you.
And just to use this moment, everyone is invited for the festival that starts, what's the date?
I think like November 1st, about then.
Well, try to be here on October 29
Yes.
at least.
Or
So
middle of October, September, all those months also are available.
Yeah, you can actually come. You can just move.
You can come now.
Move to Sri Govinda Farm. We'll be very happy. So, but please try your best to come for the festival, because that's going to be quite special. It will be the manifestation of Srila Govinda Maharaj's vision that I personally heard of and other devotees heard of. But this is when it's going to take the shape and will become visible to everyone. So please try your best. And of course, Srila Madhusudan Maharaj will be the head of the festival. So the main thing we're getting together is about the association with the higher Vaishnavas who can really help us on our path. So every festival is about that. So everyone is welcome.
Okay, so dear devotees, I have to go, or I have already gone. I'm out and about doing a Navadip Dham Harikrama remembrance this afternoon. And so I'm doing my duty right now. And I'm in the sun. So please excuse, I've had to leave the little office, a kind of Navadip office in Ireland, and now we're doing out and about Navadip Dham Parikrama remembrance. And again, as Paranpu was saying, it's the opportunity to be with devotees, to share with devotees, and to remember always that advice that they've given us, the directions, the guidance. So let us all be, as we started this Zoom today, let us all be in the richest of the rich category and not the poorest of the poor category. So anyway, super to be with you all. I don't know if this sound is going through okay. It's showing I have a poor internet connection. But otherwise, all is good. I'm here to serve, and we're here to serve together. And we're all in touch, and we'll meet you all soon. So with my obeisances from Ireland, and Jai to Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, all of our Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. And I have to go because you are over time, but I am also over time. But I need to be here with the devotees. My Dandavat Pranam, all good things. So happy to see all of you. And I'm scrolling down to, before I could see you all on the computer, but on the phone I can see you only one by one. And more devotees are arriving to our festival too. Here's Audarya Leela Devi
Madhusudan
Nasi.
Maharaj ki
Some of you
jai.
know her. There you are. Audarya Leela just came from far away by public transport. I don't know how she got here. We're in the middle of nowhere. All right. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj. See you all soon. Good to see you. Hare Krishna.
Vaishnava, Namo Namo.